Hi everyone, we're back with video number 3. So today the videos are going to focus on some molecular tests. So molecular tests are those that are based on the DNA. And we're going to run a few tests today. This is going to be the first of the tests that we're going to run, where we're going to study what's inside of the plant. Now, we can't go inside this plant, especially because Botanicurus is now going extinct. But what we can get from the plant is its pigment or its color. So we have some extracts of Botanicurus, species X, species Y, and species Z's pigment or color. Remember, the pigment is determined by its DNA. And we're going to use a technique called paper chromatography. So I have this special chromatography paper. And what happens is when we put pigment on this chromatography paper, kind of at like this starting mark here, over time, this chromatography solvent will actually start to push the pigment up this paper and start to separate it into the different colors of the rainbow, which is kind of cool. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a drop of each kind of pigment. We're going to put it on here. So I'm going to put one drop of pigment BC on this starting line. Okay. And then at the same time, sorry about that, I'll do this one-handed for you. I will put it in some solvent. I put some solvent in this beaker a few minutes before I started recording. And I'll put it so just the tip of the paper is here. Okay. And you'll see that the pigment starts to actually climb up already. Let me see if I can do this correctly. Okay. So, not my best, but hey, okay. So we've got pigment BC's paper in there. Now we're going to do the same thing for species X. One drop of that pigment on the line. And species Y, the same way. Oh, they're different colors. So cute. Okay. Now we're going to put it in the same beaker there. Okay. Now what we're going to do here. Okay. Again, just the edge, and I'm going to bend it over. Oh, so much better the second time. I'll do it better the second time. Okay. Same beaker. I'm going to put species. Oh, sorry. I should do it the same way. B, C, X, and then I'm going to put Y here. You can see the pigment starts to expand automatically. Again, Y has the edge in. Okay, just the edge in the water, and it starts to, and it kind of hooks it there. I hook it over the edge. And finally, species Z, again, just one drop on this kind of starting mark. I don't even have to like squeeze the dropper because that's how fluid the liquid is there. Okay. Oh, come on, work with me. Okay. Now it's going to sit there. What's going to happen over time, this chromatography solvent will actually start to push the pigments up the paper. And you can see in just a few minutes, right, how much it started to push these colors apart. And it's going to separate the colors based on their size, right? Because every color we see is technically not just one color. It's a combination of multiple colors. Now we'll let this sit there for about 10 minutes and see what happens. So I have one I started a few minutes before we hopped on video. Holy jeez. And now what I'm going to do is take these out. This looks crazy cool. Take these out of the paper, of the chromatography solvent, and I'm going to put them here to just like air dry. And as they air dry, I'll see the different colors, hopefully, that are making it up. So let's start with species BC. Okay. Put it here. Let it dry. We got species X. Okay. That's what species X looks like. I'm going to put up against the white paper in a minute. Species Y. Oh, this one's kind of blah. This is a boring color, Y. And species Z. Okay, so all your data from this test, that chromatography solvent away, all this data from this test, we're going to record on slide number 15. Slide number 15 in the column where it says paper chromatography. And what we're going to write down is each of the colors that we see on these strips. So I put them up against a white, some white paper here, so it's a little bit easier for you all to see. So let's go back to species I call it BC, Botanicurus, right? Again, whole point of this, if we can figure out what kind of plant is most similar to this soon-to-be extinct plant, right, we can possibly find more cure-all. More cure-all means a better chance of curing cancer. This would be amazing. So I put this, and again, if you look at the pigment, right, you're like, ew, this is a gross blackish blue color. Technically, though, I don't see any black, right? So write down all the colors you see there. I see maybe a little pink. I see a little blue up here on the corners. I maybe see a little green. Might maybe even see like a little brown over here, right? Whatever colors you see under the paper chromatography heading on slide number 15. All right, I start to see some red up here as well, so it's kind of cool. So as many colors as you see in that pigment, it looks blue-black, but it's actually a combination of all these colors. So I know you guys are learning or learned in art, right? The primary and secondary colors, this is the mix of them together. So very good. All right. Oh, I also see, I just kind of saw as I caught my eye, I don't know if you saw, kind of see like maybe a little yellowish line. Maybe there's a little yellow in there. Again, everyone is going to have a different observation. Now we go into species X. Species X, this is what it looks like from the jump. Again, like a dark green color. Here I see, definitely see that blue line. Definitely see a little red. I maybe see a little light blue, right? Again, record any colors you see in species X's paper chromatography here. All right. Species Y, this is what species Y's color looks like to begin with. I also see a little greenish tinge. Species Y, when you put it in, it only really shows me one basic color, maybe two if you want to describe that there. But it's definitely not as vivid as the others, okay? Again, that's species Y and its paper chromatography. And finally, species Z. This is what species Z, the pigment, looks like to begin with, right? Now we have the paper chromatography. So I see that red again. I see that blue, that deep blue in the middle, really pretty, a light green. Describe as many colors as you can there on slide 15 in your notes for paper chromatography. And that is our first molecular test of today.